My name is Ken Gant, P.O. Box 507, Cherryville. Thank you for serving. I want to recognize all the wonderful things you've done and move on. My only claim to fame here tonight is I'm a grandpa, have children. All of them turned out good. I pay taxes. I feel like tonight with all this fluff and stuff, that wonderful stuff, excuse me. I feel like the Grinch that stole Christmas? The president now says no sacred cows and budget cutting. Governor Perdue says the same, and so say the people. We have to choose between good-to-have projects and essential-for-service projects. He reminds me of something. I noticed in the Gazette that 2 employees from a downtown bar across the street from City Hall were arrested for drug possession and theft of alcohol. Have you seen their records? Speaking of the ABC, we do not understand why the ABC boards would find it necessary to fly to a town like Phoenix or Las Vegas to meet on a system unique to North Carolina. And I hate to do this, but or why Councilman Howard attended. Your trips cost over $2,600. Not picking on Gastonia. Multiply that times all the other government officials that travel with them. The salaries of these folks, fringes, retirement, and travel are guesstimated to be approaching $100 million. The equivalent of 2,000 school teachers. Add the government chow doggers that spend along with them, and the real estate, and the state's travel, and that's probably more teachers. When I get free stuff and trips, I get a 1099. Government officials should have to report theirs and pay taxes like I do. Next item. I was amazed to learn that employees and council and state and county use our frequent flyer miles personally rather than on reduction of airfare on the next government trip like my business used to do. The taxpayer paid for the trip, and the mileage belongs to us and should be to reduce budget. That savings throughout North Carolina and Gastonia would equate to a very large number of teacher equivalents. Also, sacred cows, we just picked a couple. Free government housing and free electricity to select nonprofits should be discontinued. This is discriminatory to other nonprofits. It could put undue pressure, hi Jenny, on vendors doing business with Gastonia to contribute. Sacred cows. I no longer see a greater need, for example, for stuff like sister cities, with its increasing and expensive travel budgets at a time when employees are being laid off and get no raises. Let me hurry. Your dues and subscription and travel and training budgets are out of line in some departments. Fire, safety, water, HR, sewer, and city management look pretty good, look like real training. Ashley, you subscribe to about everything any prestigious law firm could want and attended the International Lawyers Conference in Miami. I understand they have an excellent website, or at least they advertise they do, for posting resumes. The city seems to pay for every license their staff has, including real estate. I've always paid for my own. Would services suffer if only half of your myriad of staff attended their seminars on a rotating or not at all basis? And you could go all the way through the state with this. Some folks think that local and state governments are chow-dogging the taxpayer and selecting exotic sites for seminars so they can do the vacation sandwich. Does everyone meet with somebody at lunch. And why so many travel charges do I see to electric cities? Why do we pay contractors $25,000 in last year's budget? I guess they're lawn care when employees are being laid off. Speaking of jobs,
You're out of time, Mr. Gant.
I demand one more minute. Speaking of jobs, well, he got it. I've seen other people get it. Bear with me one
Quit
minute.
arguing and keep talking.
Bear with me. Excuse me, Madam Mayor. How many gas-funded jobs have been created by spending over $100,000 a year on dues to Central Carolina Council, North Carolina League of Municipalities, U.S. Chamber? And we're talking sacred cows here, and I know it's emotional, but you need to think about that. That's $1 million since I remember you being on the board here.
Thank you, Mr. Gant.
Why? One
Thank
more
you, Mr.
thing.
Gant.
How many gas-funded jobs were created
Mr.
by the
Gant.
$5 million stimulus spent mostly
Chief
on the
Adams.
Rayless building?
Chief
Thank
Adams.
you, Mr. Gant.
I don't think it's fair.
Chief, would you please escort Mr. Gant out of the room? Move forward to Trip Horde.